Café Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Oh my gosh, it has been a long time. Wow. Sorry about that,
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I try to bring you a podcast every day, thus the name Mike's Daily Podcast. But the past couple of days, well, I've had some things going on, done lots of cool things, so I guess that's not wrong, but that's the end of my song. I'm going to tell you, I'll try and be a little bit
Mike's Daily Podcast.
more, what's the word? Often.
Mike's
Gonna be more often
Daily
with my podcast.
Podcast.
Gonna do the often thing.
Yeah.
Often powers. It's episode 2706, 2706. It's Mike Matthews here at Podcastro Valley at Café Anyway, the last place on earth. That's where we are. We're going to have some riotous enjoyment and fine times. We missed National Cappuccino Day, National Scrapple Day. What else did we miss? National Sunday Day. That's confusing. That'd be the ice cream. We missed National Pizza with the Works, except Anchovies Day. National French Dip Day. Oh. National World Kindness Day. Actually, it's not National World Kindness. It's just World Kindness Day. Missed that. And I think that's pretty much it. So I have lots to get caught up on. I might even have a call. Somebody actually called me at my number here at Café Anyway, the Café Anyway hotline, 510-228-4640. That number is also at our website, mikesdailypodcast.com. Yes, and I'm going to tell you what the podcast picture is. I'm fully prepared to tell you what it is because I mapped out everything ahead of time on this program.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Ooh, I think it'll be a picture from the wonderful holiday Christmas lights parade thingy that was in Podcastro Valley. I remember when the first one started, I think in 2017, possibly. And they opened up they did it because Podcastro Valley, the Castro Valley Boulevard, had all this work done on it for years. The late great Basil the Boxer and I were there, as a matter of fact, as they were opening this for the first time, and they had a festival. They called it Meat on the Street back then. Not that they threw meat on the street, but they wanted people to meet on the street. Now it's the light parade, and they have hopefully nobody from Disney was there, because they had a float in the parade that looked like the electric light parade from Disneyland.
People get stuck on stupid, you know what I mean?
Pretty much.
I don't know how many people from the Bay Area go down to Disneyland. It's quite a drive. I mean, if you're going to go all the way to Anaheim, you might as well book a hotel, book a couple of nights. It's going to cost a lot. Just going to Disneyland one day costs a arm and a leg. So I guess people have a lot of expendable money.
I got through that. I got into it.
We were talking about in recent podcasts how Gen Zers love the whole experience thing, doing experiences. So let's see. I have some interesting stories to share with you. I did get to, and I should post a podcast picture of this, on the same day that I saw the Podcastro Valley Parade of Lights thing, there was we went to the Rosie the Riveter. Yes. Finally went to there in Richmond and saw it. It's free. It's not enormously big. It'll take you some time if you read every single display, but there's a lot of interesting stuff there. It talks about just the fact that this was one of the first times in history that so many women, American women, got together, and women from outside of the country coming to America to become citizens. And this was their way in, and they used it to make a life in America, a very difficult life, because it was working with all kinds of machinery and working on these huge ships. And Henry Kaiser was in charge of it all, who would later create Kaiser Permanente. Kaiser Permanente actually refers to his cement making business. He was known for making cement and built the dam out in Las Vegas.
Bands mutations.
We talked to a guy at the museum. There was a talk. They have a little theater, and this guy was doing a talk and explaining how that very iconic Rosie the Riveter poster was actually hidden in a drawer somewhere, and it was used for just a couple of weeks during World War II at some factory somewhere. And then when the women's rights movement got so big in the 60s and 70s, somebody found that poster, and it suddenly attached to that movement and became the iconic poster that it is today. This author who was giving the talk also talked to me and my lovely lady friend afterwards and said how the Kaiser guy, which is ironic, isn't it? His name is Kaiser. In World War I, we fought a Kaiser. So and now here's a Kaiser helping us fight. But his last name was Kaiser. So he had this cement business. Oh, and he was, the author said he was kind of like a Elon Musk without the baggage.
This is Mike's podcast picnic. Geroname. Addenda with Kevin.
Oh, did you know the SAG-AFTRA Hollywood strike finally ended? After 118 days, the strike finally ended. Hollywood can get back to work. Studios and union reps reached a tentative agreement. This was about a week ago, meaning the strike ended at 12:01 Pacific time on Thursday last week. And production can start up again within the next few weeks as we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
Anyway,
the last place on earth.
Magnification.
As you know, there's a real scary holiday coming up.
I've gotten so many interesting emails at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
MTV News. You hear it first.
Eyes are glazing over with... Oh, we also went to the Armistice Brewing Company. That's also in Richmond. That's a very nice place. And they have a food truck. I think they called it Side Street or Sidewalk Food or something to that effect. And lots of Filipino influenced foods. The foods of the Philippines influencing American food. It was really good. So we had some of that. Now, I got this from Rob Black. I produce his podcast, and he's on the radio in the Bay Area on AM 1220 KDOW in the morning. He's also on the television station KRON. That's KRON for all of you outside of the Bay Area. They call it that because we have a very famous newspaper in San Francisco called the San Francisco Chronicle. And so KRON is taking the first syllable of that word, and putting a K instead of a CH. But it took off the name KRON, and everybody calls it that, and it's big. So he's on there doing money advice, but he mentioned this, the Tay Bay quarter at Live Nation. Live Nation produced a record quarter last quarter. They are on pace for a record year after hit tours with Taylor Swift and Beyonce. The Ticketmaster owner crushed with 32% sales growth. In one quarter, they had 32%. That's unheard of. The bulk of Live Nation's money comes from producing concerts and selling merchandise.
Woo!
And they also promote the concerts and are involved with all the operations of the concerts. It raked in $7 billion from the concerts. It made $833 million from the ticketing. And in 2020, it went really south for them. It was really bad. Sales plunged 84%.
Welsh on the world.
In the year between 2019 to 2020. because of COVID. Then in the mid-2021, Live Nation started seeing the effects of pent-up demand for concerts as bookings for 2022 shows soared. Now, if I was a betting man and an investing man and, thought, I would never have predicted that. I would have thought people would be too afraid because people were so afraid during COVID of going outside, of being with other people, of mingling. I thought, that's never going to go back to normal. And I heard people say as much on NPR, of all places. So take anything they say with a grain of salt. And I think in England, they don't say it with a grain of salt. They just say, take it with salt. They don't care about the grain. Then the enthusiasm is still fueling the concert industry with that backlog enthusiasm, we'll call it, letting Live Nation charge higher ticket prices without losing volumes. Live Nation has sold a record 140 million tickets so far this year. Already, they're topping last year's totals. And there's the T-shirts for the Eras Tour with Taylor Swift and the Beyonce hoodies.
Kathy's Corner.
Kathy's Corner.
Other tours included Harry Styles, Lizzo, and Bruce Springsteen.
Holding court with Lady Katie. Lady Katie. The Royal Trump Tweet Decree.
It's the third year of collegiate athletics where athletes can financially benefit. Last year, athletes made about $1.2 billion in deals, an increase of about 11% from the year before.
You will travel into the incredible universe.
Fabagoo. Things to do.
Baskin Robbins has introduced a Turkey Day Fixin' ice cream, which combines sweet potato and autumn spice. Oh, that wonderful autumn spice. What's in autumn spice? Nutmeg, cinnamon, something else. Cardamom? No. Autumn spice ice cream. So it's sweet potato and autumn spice ice cream bases with honey, cornbread pieces, and swirls of ocean spray cranberry sauce. And Baskin Robbins, their ice cream is so overpriced. Oh, Starbucks. And I heard there was another strike going to happen. Red Cup Day. I forget what that is exactly, but there's going to be another strike with the Starbucks union. Even though Starbucks is going to raise pay for workers by 3% next year, they're going to go from $15 to $24 per hour next year.
Mike is on it, man.
Go where no man has gone before.
We love it,
backing
Mike.
up to the basketball player, the average men's basketball player. Well, we're talking about college basketball, but the average men's basketball player with a collective deal earns $37,000. That seems small to me. It seems very small. Although I work in radio, so that actually kind of looks big, but hey. WeWork not doing so well with the money either. They filed for bankruptcy. They were once valued at $47 billion. Outside a Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, look who's here.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. Well, Mike Matthews, I really would like to get that ice cream that sounds like autumn fun, Mike Matthews. It's really delicious.
Yes, it does. Are you okay?
Yeah, Mike Matthews. Retainers.
One of these days you'll get those retainers off and you'll be so happy.
Yeah, I'll actually be kind of sad, Mike Matthews.
Sod?
Yeah, I'll be sad.
Oh. Okay, well, and you've got the snow globes you're selling for autumn?
Yeah, instead of snow, it's little bitty leaves swirling around in the autumn snow globe, Mike Matthews.
Wouldn't that be a leaf globe?
I'm leaving.
There she goes. Look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, I heard you got a call.
When you are a man, sometimes you wear stretchy pants.
And real quick, so yours truly trying to find a deal on Amazon. And here's what I found is I wanted to find something because I have so many cassettes of me on the radio from 20, 30, almost 40 years ago. Well, I found this thing on Amazon where it's a cassette player and you stick a USB thumb drive, a USB stick into this little part where you can put one in, and you hit play on the tape on the cassette player, and then there's a little record button, and it's supposed to record digitally what's on the tape onto the little USB stick, onto the thumb drive. And great idea in theory, right? Well, it skips. It skips, and somebody said, oh, how old's your USB stick? I said, oh, this one's about 10 years old. He goes, get a newer one. So I got a new one, and I put it in. It still skips. So, such a great idea. And I know a lot of you listening have cassettes that you would probably like to transcribe to digital.
Mike's cassette copy.
Put on your computer. But no, apparently they have not perfected this. At least what I was using. And I didn't really see anything else on Amazon that did a similar job, that was supposed to do a similar job as this thing. So anyway, Café Anyway, I'll see what I can do. I'm going to try and play with some other things that this cassette player can do, but it definitely cannot record consistently in a good way, the way I would like it to, which is kind of sad. Hey, you know what it is? It's really sad. It is time now for the phone call. Let's listen, shall we, to see what they had to say. Oh, let me press. I have to do this. I forgot to press one other button. This magic button over here that puts it into your ears. Here it goes.
Hello, Mike. Hey, how are you? Oh, I hope you're doing good. This is Bill. I listen to you right here in the fine town of San Leandro. Listen, I wanted to tell you were talking about anxiety last time. Anxiety is no laughing matter, Mike. You shouldn't make fun of it. You shouldn't even talk about it. For all you do, you should just shut up about that, Mike.
Whoa.
Because on your podcast, you influence a lot of people. Like you are an influencer. That's what you are.
What?
Mike, I gotta go. Nice Scottish accent, by the way.
Spanish accent? That's right. We had a little help from ChatGPT on the way, on what you're supposed to do if someone calls you and they're having problems with anxiety and they're having a breakdown and they call you. And anyway, that Café Anyway, that was the last podcast, which was entitled Befuddled, which I certainly was. But if you would like to reach me, here's the number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And to see the podcast picture and find out how to email me and all that stuff, that's right here with A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye.